Welcome, my beautiful souls, and welcome, my gorgeous cancers. Um, I am so sorry that your reading is late. Ugh, um, but it's probably divine timing. I have to tell you, I'm doing opposite signs again this month, and I just got done with your opposite, Capricorn, and some of you are going to relate to that reading. Let me tell you something, Cancer. There's usually one sign, like I really pay attention to patterns, and there's usually one sign every month that seems to be in everybody else's reading. Well, you are that person this month. Um, and I have to say, from what I can remember, I've done a lot of readings, but from what I can remember, you always showed up in a great light. So, it makes me really excited to do your reading, even though it's a little late. I do feel like this is probably its divine timing. Um, Happy belated birthday, by the way, for those who just celebrated a birthday. So this is going to be for Cancer Sun, Moon, or Rising. Many of you know that my moon is right on the cusp of Cancer and Gemini, but I don't know my time of birth. So I claim them both because I feel them both. Anyways, this is also for those who are intuitively guided. I thank you for paying attention to your intuition. Many of you are learning um, that your intuition will guide you to a reading. If you feel it, then that reading is probably for you, whether it's mine or someone else's. Um, but definitely use your intuition in a reading also. I feel like August is going to be a good month for you. You have Venus going into your sign, a lot of charming, sensual type of energy. Probably why you're in everyone's reading. Not everyone's, but the majority. Um, so we'll see. We'll see why. But yeah, some of you may be in love with a Cancer, platonically, romantically. Same thing. Just remember that your guides, who we read through, our spirit guides, they know you're here. And if there's a message, trust me, they'll get it to you. That's why you want to listen to your intuition. Let your intuition guide, and you just sit back and enjoy the show. All right, guys. So let's go ahead and get into the reading. We will give Mother Mary the honor of opening up your reading. We're going to use the crystal vision to clarify and go deeper. We're going to use the major arcanas for our bullet points for anyone who's new. Um, I feel like they bring a lot of value, and I did ask a lot of you. Well, I asked you if what you thought because I want to do what you want me to do. But I had a lot of positive feedback, so they're here to stay for now. And for your main spread, we're going to use the Universal Tarot, and it is the same. What does not want to come up? The Eight of or the Eight of Wands doesn't want to come up. When I think about it, I bring about. The law of attraction. So, anyways, tarot, Universal Tarot will be your main spread. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the lid down. And let's go ahead and open the tarot portion. Anybody new? I also spend quite a bit of time pre-shuffling my decks. That just feels right. Before I begin your reading, like at least 15 minutes. Especially when I'm doing opposites, I really shuffle. Okay, so Mother Mary, open your heart. Open your heart, and I am going to tell you that that's the same thing your opposite sign got. Open your heart. I allow myself to feel the full range of emotions, especially all forms of love. And then forgiveness. I am willing to release old resentments so that I may enjoy my life. A lot of people have a hard time with forgiveness, and I get it. I definitely get it. But it's really about not carrying the weight of whatever maybe you have chosen not to forgive. Then you carry that weight around. And it's not about even picking up the phone and calling someone and forgiving, unless you choose. It's just forgiving within your heart. It's just literally so you don't have to carry that around anymore. Well, so that you may enjoy your life. Who would have thought forgiveness could offer us really peace? That's really what it's about. All right, let's bring in the major arcanas. And Cancer, you are the last sign for the month of August. And I always feel like the last is usually the best. All right. All right. So we start with the Hermit, card of Virgo. Though many of you know, I don't really read these as people, but you can. We're in the year of the Hermit. It is about the final reflection of this 9-year cycle because it's coming to an end. And a brand new 9 years is opening up. The year of the Magician, 2026. So the Hermit is really a great representation of getting ready to manifest the type of life you want. But first, you have to know what you don't want, what's not working. The Hermit is either going into the dark or coming out. The Hermit's going into the dark. He's seeking light, seeking wisdom. And the Hermit does find that wisdom. But what else the Hermit finds is that I am my own hero. I am my own light. And I often feel that the Hermit's an old soul. So a lot of wisdom that you can pull on, but you got to go within. It's like connecting to your higher selves, but within. So, but this Hermit has emerged from the cave or the dark night of the soul. We have the Hangman. So, are you waiting on something? Something waiting on you. The Hangman is interesting because really the Hermit and the Hangman are both seeking wisdom. The Hangman's doing it more from like a human perspective, but I really am seeking spiritual wisdom, but to use on this earthly plane, where the Hermit is really seeking well, again, they're both seeking spiritual wisdom, but I just feel like they're coming from different parts of themselves, I guess is the best way of putting that. All right, well, let's see what the Hangman is swaying towards. Okay, well, I didn't want to take this many, but I am not going to refuse them because they're all face up. So, well, hello, lovers. Hello, lovers. So the lovers is a card of Gemini. The meaning is a head over heart decision, and that's definitely part of it. There's chemistry, undeniable. You can see Cupid up there, right? The angel's influence over the lovers. But the Hangman, what is he waiting on? What is she waiting on? We have the High Priestess, maybe to trust one's own intuition. Some of you may be waiting for like a sign. And I feel like what this is saying, the sign is within you. All right. Death card. Closing of old chapters. This is about transformation. So you should never fear it. Um, Especially with the hermit here. Because I feel like a lot of you have found like the wisdom that you're seeking. There may be more that you're still seeking, but I do feel like you'll find it. Um, but again, this is about transformation. It can talk about the ending of something, but that means that something new wants to begin. And then, interesting, we have the tower. So the tower mirroring the hermit. Number one, that takes the sting out of it for me, so to speak, because I'm looking at this tower through a spiritual lens. And, it's interesting because the death card is about endings, but it is so something new can begin. We're in the year of the hermit, which is ending a 9-year cycle, which will begin a new cycle. So this tower, to me, it definitely feels like it has already happened. And some of you are just seeking wisdom, like, I don't want to repeat that again. Well, that's exactly what the hermit will give you, the wisdom over the towers. A lot of times when you see a tower, what comes to my mind is there could have been something that wasn't really built on a strong foundation to start with. And therefore, like the lightest of winds can come in and blow it over. But if I think about the foundation first and foremost, well, then it can withstand many storms. So it's interesting because right now we have the lovers and the high priestess in the middle. Your intuition, and potentially you and someone else. The hangman may be asking, I feel like I'm feeling a couple different things here, and I have a feeling they're all true. Um, I definitely feel like there's someone who, I don't know. I don't know if they played mind games. Um, I definitely feel like they hurt you in a way. Not in a way, they hurt you. But I do feel that you're rebounding from that. And the death card bringing out the tower, I feel like it's asking you to, that's probably also why forgiveness is here, to let that tower go. You know, it a lot of people don't like when I say this, but it could have taught you something. And sometimes it's just teaching you what you no longer want, you know, especially if you yourself have gone through this spiritual reflection. That means you're raising your vibration. And therefore, what comes in will be of that same vibration. Okay, so interesting. Let's bring in the tarot, the universal tarot. Let's go deeper. See what's going on with these lovers. High priestess. It definitely means that your guides are asking you to trust your intuition, especially as it relates to love. Because again, a head over heart decision. Do I follow my head or my heart? Well, I kind of feel like that's what the hangman's asking. What do I do here? Do I follow my head? Do I follow my heart? They may be pulling you in two different directions. I can tell you what your guides would say. Follow your intuition. Follow your passion. Even if it's a little scary, because you can always change courses. If you start down a path, but that path doesn't feel right, well, you can say, okay, enough of that path. I'm going to choose a different path. You can always do that. All right, let's see what we got. Hmm. Well, I have to tell you, Seven of Swords, I'm not so sad about the Tower being here now. Because this definitely talks about someone who carries untrustworthy energy. This is someone definitely takes more than they need, more than their fair share. It's called the thief in the night. I think this person has a problem with telling truths. Like, reminds me of immature energy where I'd rather tell you what you want to hear so I don't get in trouble. Well, the truth is what I want to hear. Well, that I can't do. We have the Four of Cups. Interesting. So the Four of Cups talks about discontentment and boredom within your emotional life, and it makes sense with the Seven of Swords right before the Tower. So I do feel like the Seven of Swords, chances are it's ended. And even if you didn't want it to end, boy, do I feel like your spirit guides did, because I feel like I just get this feeling that I'm not going to say you're with the wrong person, because free will is free will. Even some soulmates come in and teach us some very hard lessons, but they're only temporary. When Mother Mary says, open your heart to all forms of love, platonically, romantically, but also the levels of love. Like the Seven of Swords is someone I feel is still immature. They just don't know how to love. And we can try to make them love us. And sometimes it's not that they don't love us, they just don't know how. But your spirit guides would say you are not here to teach them how to love you, because real love, you just know it. But here's the thing, in the Four of Cups, there is a cup coming in. There it is. Sometimes you'll see the person looking at the cup. This person's not. She's still looking down at the four cups below. But there's still a cup coming in. Coming under the hangman, some of you might be asking when. Let's keep going. We have the King of Wands. Can be Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. We don't have any of that on the board right now. But this is what I feel about the King of Wands. I feel it's the king of action. Interesting, because he's looking right back at the Four of Cups, and the person in the Seven of Swords is looking at the Four of Cups. It's almost like two people. Which way do I go? Well, that would make sense with the lovers. Head, heart. Though some may say in the Seven of Swords, that's where my heart lies. But does it really? And it may, but be very, very honest with yourself. Something new that was in one of the readings that my guides brought out was, instead of saying, like, why won't this person love me? That type of thing. Turn that around and think, do they deserve me? Does this person deserve my love? Because I feel like the answer is no. But then we have this king, and he's looking at the Four of Cups, and he is ready to get out of his seat. He's ready for action. This is someone who I feel would put actions behind their words for sure. It is coming under the lovers. Is it one of the lovers? I have a feeling. We have the world. Here we go. Here we go. No wonder we opened up with the hermit. It feels like it's literally giving you an opportunity to do that final clearing, to be really honest with yourself. Even ask yourself, like, these towers, because we all get them. That's life. But you can ask yourself, was that tower built on a strong foundation? Or was it just whatever it was? I get the feeling the answer is no. I know that's not for everyone, but I do know the person in the Seven of Swords. And listen, I am not saying that this person in the Seven of Swords can't evolve. Anyone can, if they so choose. That is their free will. And that's the line that we can't cross. That's the line your spirit guides can't cross because that's their free will. But anyway, and I don't even want to keep harping about it because this is about the next chapter. And I love the world's energy. This is the full in between, by the way, or in the middle. So that willing to take a leap of faith. Coming into the high priestess, so definitely just trusting your intuition. If it feels right, it probably is right. If it feels wrong, it probably is wrong. But listen, I don't feel like this is anything that's right or wrong. I feel like this is what is meant to be. This is its time. So the world's chapter, I often feel like if it's relating to love, let's say, I feel like this is where you meet that partner that you're with for the rest of your life. Sometimes we had to kiss a lot of frogs to find our ultimate prince or princess. And I also feel this is when your spirituality is like intact. It's what you trust. So if you're now in this energy and someone who lives in the Seven of Swords energy tries to connect with you, it'd be a whole different ballgame. Because then I feel like you would literally ask, like, why do you think you deserve me? Like, why do you even think that? Look at the shit you've done to me. And now you want another chance? And even a chance, I feel like is the wrong word. And excuse my language, but I feel like it almost feels more sexual. Like someone who comes in, is sweet and what have you, to sleep with you, and then boom, there's no contact again. Ah, Cancer. I do not want you to live your life that way. And here's the thing, you don't have to. Hello, Six of Cups. Hmm. Six of Cups is about nostalgia. Interesting, because it could certainly talk about someone from the olden days, younger years. This would be someone that you would have happy memories of. It is following the world. So if there's a person attached to this, then they are part of this next chapter. And boy, I have a feeling they are, because again, the lovers and the world is asking you to really trust your intuition. And what does the world bring out? The king and then the Six of Cups. So I have a feeling this king, you may already know who it is, but you may not have been in contact for a long time. I just get the sense where this king is like, I'll come in and fulfill your heart. I'll come in and make sure your cup is full. You can trust me. I'll show you that I love you. Like you won't doubt it. You just know it. But let me say that for it to be all that it can be, you also want to be in that energy as much as you can. I get the sense that somebody finds you a little sad, but not down and out, just a little sad. But then I feel like if that's the case, the conversation may go to, like, what an asshole that person was. Like, how could they have treated you like that? I would never do that. And I believe them. I do believe them. And when I say that, what I mean by that, it's not like me literally believing it, it's me feeling it. That's one of the beautiful gifts that I've been given is, which many of us have. And I have to say, I have worked on my spirituality. My spirituality has grown leaps and bounds. Um, why I'm telling you this is when I say things like that, it's not really me, it's your guides. So when I say I trust this person, it's because your guides are allowing me to feel that I can trust them. Okay, that was a long way around. All right, well, let's keep going. Hmm. Four of Wands. This is the marriage card, the commitment card. Huh. Coming under the Seven of Swords. I don't know. Some of you could have been married to this person. Definitely in a committed, well, it's funny, but I'm having a hard time saying committed relationship. I get the sense where this is the year when you truly want to ask yourself is if you're waiting on someone who's in and out of the picture, is that how I want my next 9 years to look? Because you may have to take some bold action, but it may just be within. What am I holding? Four of Wands, commitment, marriage. Listen, just because one thing didn't work out, it certainly doesn't mean the next won't. So some of you could have been married to this person, or in a relationship, but it can also talk about because it's following the world. I mean, it's probably twofold because what's following the world, I feel, is what's yet to come in. But I do feel that there was a relationship with that Seven of Swords. Committed? I don't think so, because the other four that's connected is the Four of Cups. So you're not content in love. And I know that's not everyone, but I know it's a lot of you that are here today. Let's just put it that way, or here whenever you find the reading. Because, your guides will make sure this reading comes across. Look at this. The Magician. Now, this is great news. But the first thing I felt when I just touched this card is it is talking about the clearing through the Hermit's energy so that you could have that power of the Magician. The one way you can look at your past is your past. Your own history can be your greatest lessons. You can look back at situations, I can look at situations where I really thought, like, this is it, this is going to be my life, or, like, how am I ever going to get out of this? And you just think it's impossible. But then, some way, somehow, you do. even if the tower was given to you, let me tell you, it feels kind of life saving. And I don't mean it like in a physical life. For some of you, it could be because in the Seven of Swords, that person could be a narcissist. They could be, you know, they could use their hands. They definitely use their words, but not in a good way. So, anyways, all I'm saying is this coming into the Four of Cups, it feels like it's answering prayer, but it just might be different than what you expected. The magician is a reminder no matter where you're at in your life, you still possess all the tools that you need to manifest whatever it is you want to manifest. But here's the thing, like trying to manifest someone who is clearly making it known that they don't have what it takes to make a commitment. Well, then don't try to manifest that. Like when you're manifesting, I feel like the best thing, let's say we want to manifest love. I feel like the best intentions. Remember we saw that Eight of Wands, what I think about, I bring about. So I feel like if it's love, well, what I want to tell the universe is, yes, I'm ready for love, but you do want to be ready. That means that you're able to give, be a good lover back. But again, I would say, I want someone who's going to be loyal. I want someone who's going to be committed, who will want to be with me. I want someone that I can spend the rest of my life with. I want this person to be steady, grounded, instead of being like, I want John or I want Jim, but John doesn't want me. And I know that hurts, but this person does. And that's just part of what we do until we know better. We fight for what's not worth fighting for until we realize, until we know better. I do feel that you are manifesting this cup. And that means the majority of you have gone through the hermit's energy and have come out the other side, and that just means you have clarity. You're not fooling yourself. Um, and it's an opportunity to heal yourself also. I feel like the universe is just helping to answer or helping to bring, it feels like real love to you. All right, well, let's keep going. We have the King of Pentacles. So we have two kings back to back. King of Pentacles can be Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn. Interesting though, because we don't have any, well, we do have Virgo. But that doesn't really matter. It could just be different kings for different people. And when I say kings, king or queen, like if you're a male watching this, just, you know, unless you like another king, then just make it a queen. So it's interesting how when I just put those affirmations out into the universe, where I wanted someone who was grounded, someone who was steady, someone I could count on. Well, that's everything I feel like the King of Pentacles represents. So having the King of Wands and the King of Pentacles connected, I hope it's the same person, because I also feel with the King of Pentacles in the upright that they are very, very loyal. I just realized we have two energies of Mercury also. So communication probably had been not good That doesn't mean that it has to continue. All right, but let's continue. Beautiful. The Four of Swords. So we have three fours on the table. We started with the Four of Cups, discontentment and boredom within my emotional world. Divine's like, okay, I have the perfect cup for you. It's coming through these kings, but also with the Magician underneath it, it is also your energy helping to manifest it. The other four is the Four of Wands, the marriage card, what is meant to be a true commitment card. I feel like I didn't have it with the person in the Seven of Swords, but I can have it over here. Because look what happens. Healing. You know, the thing is, people in the Seven of Swords, and let's just put them in a nutshell of like untrustworthy energy, whatever they're doing. Boy, we give them so much time. Like, why can't you love me? I want you to love me. And you know, they may love you, but I don't know they can give you the life you deserve. That's the thing. Like, I often feel, even if this person has the same opportunities to evolve as we do, I often feel this person just doesn't want to, doesn't see a problem, thinks maybe you're the problem, which is not the case. So, you know, be very, very, very honest with yourself, because giving this person all your time and energy and heart and mind when they're not really giving anything back, why wouldn't you want to go here? The only reason I would think is because you may think it's not possible. But that's what the hermit, that deep reflection, looking within. That's what the hangman, seeking spiritual wisdom to use on this earthly plane. Some of you may have already met this other person, and it's like, which do I choose? Well, I feel like, you know, it feels like the answer is clear. Um, and what I was going to say is, I feel like with that tower connected with the Seven of Swords, and now we have the Four of Swords, I have a feeling that the day will come when you rarely even think of that person anymore. Hello, Fool. Hello, new beginning. Hello, leap of faith. For what? It's coming under the Six of Cups. Now, I do read the Six of Cups as even past lives. This is about a new beginning. This is definitely putting the past in the past. This is walking into 2026 free and clear. It doesn't mean you may be in a relationship, a new relationship. Look at the way you're feeling. Free. Free to be you. And then we have the Page of Cups, which is your inner child. I'm going to put this right here. That is your inner child. That is what's being healed. That is what's been hurt. You know, when you see a page, it can definitely represent a few different things. Number one, I feel like it represents you. Like, it definitely is your inner child and the healing of the inner child. You know, that just means that you're going to allow yourself to take some adventures. You're going to allow yourself to be the fool. And remember, as a fool, you're just stepping upon the path. Again, you can change courses if you so choose. But I have a feeling you won't want, yeah, I don't think you're going to. But again, free will. Now, page can also be what's in the atmosphere. So the page of cups would mean that there's potential love in the atmosphere. And when I say in the atmosphere, what I mean is it's energy you might start feeling, but maybe not sure why. Let me tell you, if you've cleared this energy, because the tower was meant to clear it, and you jump into the next energy of the magician, and you clearly state your intention. So when I say clearly, again, I'm not talking about hair colors, eye color, or that type of thing. The type of person. Well, I know what type of person I was thinking about, and here they are. Here they are. I feel like this is one person, to be honest. I just feel like it's those parts that I was asking for. And then so it begins, the world, and so it begins. And what happens? Anything that was left broken from back here is now being healed in this new energy. And it literally is like taking all the weight off of your shoulders. You feel light as a feather. Some of you, it may have something to do with this person in the Six of Cups. If it's a person, I do feel like it probably, I do feel like it is. It is coming right below Scorpio. So for some of you, it could be Scorpio. Let's bring in, well, let's see if it's on the bottom of the deck. Beautiful. Beautiful. This is moving on. This is you moving on from the toxicity. This is you moving on from those who are playing mind games. Tell you what you want to hear, only to turn around and do whatever they want to do. You know, it doesn't even have to be romantic. Some of you, it's also your thoughts. It's like the freeing of your thoughts. You know, like this person got in you. They put their hooks in you. This is you removing those hooks. This is you moving on to greener pastures. Look at that. The sun underneath it. Really, it feels like the sun is at your back. Like you're heading towards the sun. You know, this is change because you got to go back one card, the the Five of Swords. That's where the toxicity lied. And this is someone leaving it, sometimes physically or just mentally, but you're leaving it. What it means is it won't have an effect on you anymore. This is temporarily difficult energy, just temporarily. And it's only for those who are uncomfortable with change. But this is moving you to really much calmer waters. It's moving you to what you truly deserve. But you had to take that initial action. You had to get in the boat. And I'm telling you, once you clearly state that you are done, just let's just say being treated like shit for whatever the reason, wherever it's coming from. When you are done and you really mean it, and you close that chapter and you allow the next chapter to open. Well, I just feel like you have no idea of the potential that's waiting for you. But I also want to say the ability to create like We have to remember that. The magician is about us creating. We hold the pen, we write our book. Divine helps us, but we are the author. So we have to decide how we want our book to read. Do I want it to be stuck back at this old chapter? Or do like a romance novel? Or do I want to start heading towards something new? And let's just see what happens. Wouldn't that be great if we could all just do that? Like, I'm just going to be the fool and I'm just going to be open. All right, let's bring in the crystal vision. Give it a shuffle. Give it another one. I didn't like the way that shuffled. Perfect. All right, give him a cut. Introduce him into the ongoing reading. Fix my cards back up. This wanted to come out first. Oh my God, beautiful. Beautiful. Ace of Pentacles. Man, sometimes Ace of Pentacles can save your life. It can give you the way to get away. Ace of Pentacles talks about something that's coming into your physical world. Listen, for some of you, you still might be connected to the Seven of Swords when someone else connects to you. And then you really have a decision to make. But I can see, like I feel like this is showing me what your soul wants. But anyways, so this means that something tangible is coming into your life. This isn't about energy. It is energy, because I often feel it comes as a seed, and if you nurture it, it will only grow and blossom and really send out new seeds. So it doesn't feel like a one-time thing to me, as long as I'm nurturing it. But it does mean something is coming. Dun, 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 dun. And I kind of love, number one, that it's coming over the Seven of Swords because I feel like it's your escape, so to speak. But it's also touching the Hermit. So it's almost like a karmic reward for really looking within, really finding that spiritual self. That's what you want to remember. We are spiritual beings in human bodies. Our human bodies, well, really, it's our soul that is here to learn and grow and experience and have adventures. You know, like I often think when we leave this world, I don't want to be one of those souls where a younger soul comes up to me and says, Sandy, what did you do down there? I'm sure I'll have a different name, but what was it like? Well, it sucked. I met someone, they kept breaking my heart. What'd you do about it? Nothing. Nothing. Or, well, let me tell you, it's hard, but then there's also loving times. I dealt with something so difficult, but it was my spirituality that got me over it. And then let me tell you what happened. You won't believe it. And they're like, I want to go. I want to go to Earth. I want to go to Earth. But if I tell them all I did was kept waiting for someone to evolve, to mature, but it didn't happen. Well, then those little souls, they're going to run. I don't want to go down there. That's how I look at it. That's how my spiritual team lets me see it. Like when we leave this world, we will be teaching, we will be helping. And it is the wisdom that we learned in this lifetime. Every lifetime. But I feel like as, one life ends, we go do our job and then we choose to reincarnate. The one thing I feel when I see the hermit is sometimes you have lived all the life paths. This may be your last lifetime, like your last reincarnation. So let's let's live it up. All right. We have the Page of Swords, interesting, over the Hangman, but also over the Four of Cups. Saying interesting because I again feel it's twofold. We now have two pages, so that would make sense with the Six of Cups, two younger energies. But I have to say, I feel like this Page of Swords feels twofold to me because one, I may have been waiting for someone to communicate. This feels like a no contact or a here and then not here type of energy. And that puts me in this state of always waiting and wondering and waiting and wondering. But then I also feel that it's these kings calling, ringing you up. How are you? Do you remember me? Of course I remember you. How you been? I've been okay. Tell me about it. Tell me what you've been doing. Well, right now I'm in a pretty bad relationship. What? What do you mean? Yeah, the person cheats. They lie. Cancer. What? Why? Why would you be with them? By the way, I'm single. Oh, you are? I am. Oh, well, I gotta go. Can I call you tomorrow? I don't know. I don't know. Butterflies. Butterflies. Okay. Okay. You can call me tomorrow. And so it begins. And so it begins. They're both in reverse. I'm going to flick them. It's so interesting that the king just said he is single, and this definitely represents singular energy. Nine of Cups, great energy, inner fulfillment, but also fulfillment of wishes. Who knows? A magician could have been partly this king's also. Interesting. I get a feeling that this king or queen had been with someone. I feel like they were probably married, but I feel like they are now single. And I feel like it's probably been a little bit of time. And I feel like you're on their mind. Fulfillment of wishes. And it's coming over the lovers and over the king. The Five of Cups. Five of Cups. First of all, discontentment. Five of Cups. Any five ask you to stop for a moment because it is about change. That's what a five is about, but graceful as can be. So, this is really focusing on what I have lost, the things that didn't work out, the cups that have been knocked over. This can be like a state of sadness. But when this person makes that ultimate change, saying, not gonna keep waiting for the Seven of Swords person. I've got to start putting myself first. There are literally two cups behind them. And it's coming over the world. This is why I'm getting excited, especially with the Nine of Cups right beside it. Fulfillment of wishes and its cups. And then the Five of Cups. I feel like this is a soulmate. And I feel like maybe one of their purposes, well, number one, let me just say, I feel like it has the opportunity, I feel, to last forever. And I definitely feel that this is the soulmate that is going to help heal those, well, probably the mind, help build you back up. I have to be honest, they seem pretty, what's the word I want to use? Um, they seem like they're in harmony. They have inner fulfillment, but they have a wish. And I think that wish is you. Now, it can be the other way around. I feel like your reading is speaking to me. Why not another king? Now we have the King of Cups. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. We have Scorpio, and of course we have you. Coming over to Six of Cups. And then we have the Hierophant. Number one, it's a five. The Hierophant, it is the card of Taurus, I should say that. Um, but this is asking you, where the Five of Cups is asking you, what are you focusing on? This is asking you, are you living life according to your standards, to your morals? Or are you living life according to others, what they want, how they live their lives? Another way you can look at this, am I lowering my standards to be with another versus them raising their standards to be with me? The Hierophant is about morals. Well, I don't feel like the Seven of Swords person has a lot of morals, but I feel like these other kings do. So, change. It's coming over the marriage card. But the Hierophant is about the light. And it is about your faith. It is about, like, honestly, I feel like we just have to ask ourselves, like, I have certain morals. Why would I lower my morals? Well, because I really want that person. But what are they giving you? All right, I'm going to let that be. You know why I talk the way I do in the readings? It's because I feel like you are my best friends. I feel like you are my children. Like I talk to you like I love you, which I do. And because I love you, I just want you to have the best life possible. So I know sometimes I can get a little carried away. So will. Your destiny. It doesn't mean the person in Seven Swords wasn't also part of your destiny. They probably were. They could have been like a karmic soulmate, and a karmic soulmate can definitely come with like some very difficult lessons. They're not meant to stay forever. They're meant to teach those lessons and then move on. But some soulmates, that ultimate soulmate, which is what I feel like it's leading us to, is what stays forever. This soulmate, where this one feels like I was teaching you, well, I learned, goodbye. Where this soulmate wants to help heal you. What a difference. Interesting. The King of Pentacles over the King of Pentacles. Hmm. Well, that's definitely like minded energy. The Three of Pentacles. I may come back and look to see, look at that. And then the King of Wands again. Holy Kings. The only king we don't have out here is the King of Swords. But look at the king. Well, you know, I have to say, I feel like it's just all one person or different people for different people. Because now that we have the loyalty, the stability, someone who makes their own money, someone who puts action behind their words, and now we have the King of Cups, someone who would tell you they love you, who doesn't like hide their emotions. The King of Pentacles can have a hard time expressing their emotions, but they'll show you where the King of Cups has an easier time expressing their emotions. Now, if this king was in reverse, then bye bye. But they're not coming in reverse, they're coming in the upright. And then in between, you have the Three of Pentacles. It's interesting because the Three of Pentacles is coming over the Four of Swords. Three of Pentacles speaks about your individuality and understanding that there is no one else like you. There just isn't. You're one of a kind. This is other people celebrating that about you. What I love about the Three of Pentacles, if it's relating to love, which I don't know how it could not be, it means that you can be completely who you are. When I felt you feeling so light in the Fool's energy, it is because you can be completely who you are. And I feel like your soulmate is helping to heal those last broken pieces. This is about admiration. I love it. I love it because it's not just you being you, it's them free to be themselves. Like you're both free to be yourselves and being appreciated for that. No mask is needed. Let's just say that. All right. Let's just go right below. Whoa. Five of Wands. Look at that. Another five. Drama. Drama, drama, drama. Fighting, fighting, fighting. Ego. All of the above. This is why the Hierophant wants you to look at, again, your morals, your beliefs, but even how you value yourself. You know, the one thing when you have the Seven of Swords, which is kind of mirroring, um, I don't know why I feel this, but I feel like, when the Five of Wands shows up, that if I'm expecting someone to acknowledge, you know, their ways or to apologize, chances are they're not going to. Because again, I often feel, I'm feeling it in this reading, that the person in the Seven Swords is like, what? What do you mean change? So, what am I hanging on to? Seven of Swords again. Connecting it right with that Five of Wands. Look at that, mirroring the Hangman. Some of you, I feel like you're asking your guides or divine, am I meant to stay with this person? You may feel like soulmate energy. They could have definitely charmed you in. It's like when Venus hit you, you are going to be so charming. And I hope that's when that call comes in. All right, let's keep going. The High Priestess, the King of Swords. So we have all the kings out now. All the king's men. Hello, Ten of Pentacles. Hello, House of Abundance. I have a feeling you didn't have that. And I apologize that I keep talking about this Seven of Swords, but I see the Ace of Pentacles sitting over him. And I think to myself, if it has anything to do with money, I don't want them to have their hands on it. I just don't want them to have their hands on it. Because this Ten of Pentacles, it is you and it is someone else, but it's the lovers. And then the Hangman. It's like we end where we started. The Hangman. Well, I feel like if the Hangman was seeking wisdom, this reading hopefully gave you the wisdom that you were seeking. You know, I feel like something you could tell yourself if you're dealing with, someone very difficult, like someone who is in and out of the picture. Was there something that I was learning? And sometimes, especially with the Hierophant right there, it is learning to live life. Let me put it a different way. This life was given to you. This is your life. You determine how people are going to treat you. You have that power. You have that power. You can certainly go to your guides or to God and seek clarity. But then I feel like then we have to be very, very honest with ourselves because I just get this feeling that some are stuck. But I feel like this wants to open. And there must be something in free will here. Just the way I'm talking, like, like I don't like to feel like I'm trying to talk someone into something. And it's not what I'm trying to do. I just want you to see the difference. It's night and day. It's night and day. Will this person change? No. I'm sorry I'm being so bold, but I feel like this is telling us no. At least not now. But here's the thing, if they decide to someday make a change, it won't matter to you because you're going to be on living life with someone else, but a whole different type of life, a whole different type of love, the type of love you deserve, but you have to know that. You have to know that. I feel like this person who I feel may call you, I really feel like if you say to them, like, yeah, I was, connected to someone who's blah, 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 I feel like this person would say, like, what? Why are you still there? So funny. I was just going to say Claire. And it's so interesting because I'm doing a podcast where I'm teaching major arcanas through story form. And Claire is our foal. I don't know if you guys remember where I said that the name Claire kept coming to me like weeks before I ever thought about doing this podcast. And then when I sat down to do the podcast, Claire was the name. Now, I don't know why I'm saying all that, but I wanted to call you Claire. So for some of you, maybe listening to Claire's story, because what I did, it is a lot of chapters, but they're short. At least listen to the first one, the Foals. I think I called it the introduction, but something is tying me to, I'm not trying to push it. Something is tying this reading to that, though. All right, let's bring out the clarifying love situations. Dance of souls. Be vulnerable and let your two hearts intertwine. Be vulnerable and let your two hearts intertwine. I feel like that's exactly the energy you're going to be in. So, just a little bit more confirmation. Also, I want to say with the Ace of Pentacles, the Three of Pentacles, and the Ten of Pentacles, this is not about you needing to be taken care of. I feel like, if anything, the Ace of Pentacles, I do feel like it is someone coming in, but I also feel like it is your way out. And I also feel like it is, for some, like money, but the money feels like it's for like a creative project, like something you've always wanted to do, you decide to do it, and then boom, the Ten of Pentacles. So I know you have that ability, though I often feel you're not alone in the Ten of Pentacles. It is the house of abundance. And I do call it the house of loyalty. I don't know why, but I do. All right. Anything else want to come out? All right. Playful innocence. Embrace a childish spirit where baby steps lead to joy, not seriousness. So have fun. The Fool is all about taking baby steps. And you know what else? I realized the Fool has his greatest mentors on the table, the magician and the high priestess. Magician teaches the Fool nothing to fear. You possess everything you need within to truly be successful in any journey you want to take. The high priestess, I am your GPS. I will guide you. Trust me. Listen to me. I am you. I am your higher self. I see goodbyes. I missed unclear paths and frozen moments. The hardest choice is leaving for clarity. And last but not least, enduring quest. Through struggle, build the stamina to uncover and stand by your truth. I feel like it's everything I've been saying. And I wasn't going to, but let's go ahead and pull out the romance angels because I already know, I already feel it. But we'll see if there's anything that wants to come out. Actually, I'm going to pick these up. Wedding. This situation involves marriage. Well, we have the marriage card. Oh my gosh. Calling in your soulmate. Calling in your soulmate. Your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help bring you together. Not only does it bring you together, even if you're married to that Seven of Swords and I don't see justice. So for the majority, I don't feel like it went to marriage. Um, I think you hoped it went to a commitment, and it probably did, but it just, I don't want to go back. I don't want to go back. I feel like what this is talking about is what is yet to come. What is yet to come. And, I'm someone who, like, I don't feel like I need to get married any longer. I don't know why I'm saying, well, I'm not going to have kids. You know what I mean? Like, but Sam and I have made that ultimate commitment to each other. Doesn't mean we're not going to get married. We talk about it all the time. Um, and the only reason I'm bringing that up is even if it doesn't, well, I shouldn't say it won't go to marriage because that's what it's saying. So I'm going to let that be. Cancer. This is one hell of a reading. And I have a feeling that's going to title your reading. I don't know, like, how do you tell someone all of this within a couple words? So I'll probably just write one hell of a reading. Wow. But look at the ultimate energy that will be available to you. All you have to do is trust your intuition. If the tower has happened, let it be, or give that tower. Call in your soulmate. It taking me back when I was saying like the affirmations you can use. It's almost like I just called in your soulmate for you. And so it is. We'll let that be. I love you guys. I thank you. I thank you for your patience. But what? It's one hell of a reading. One hell of a reading. And that other lovers, I know it's in one of those other readings because you are in so many readings. I wish I could point you to the direct, like to, well, no, that wouldn't be right because it's going to be different people, different signs for different people. But I'm going to let this be. I love you guys. I thank you. I cannot wait to hear your comments. I hope you let me know how you relate to this. And again, use your intuition. But yeah, I can't wait to read your comments. I love you guys. Thank you. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.